don't even know. It's an even day. So you may sit with your favorite cross of your legs. Purposefully pull the hamstrings, the quadriceps back, thereby taking that flesh that's around your sitting bone back well. So do that on both sides. Okay, then bring your hands to your kneecaps. And when you do that, can you feel that the hold, right? The hold and the grasp is pulling those femurs more securely in the sockets. So you're doing that and you feel how that feels. Okay, now can you keep that and bring your hands to the sides of the hips and now lift. You mostly feel, at least I do, I mostly feel the top chest lifting. But really what has to lift is from this crease. So abdomen, it can be firm without being hard and lifted without being hard. So lift from the bottom of the crease here and the bottom of the trunk. Lift up, roll the shoulders back. You know, put yourself back over so that you feel your sitting bones. And you might feel that you're more firmly on one than the other. That always happens to me. So I go back and correct the problem child. Okay, then fold your hands in front of your chest. Look straight ahead. Have a good upliftment and allow the breath to help you do that with the physicalness of yourself. The breath can help fill that space. Look straight ahead. And if you have glasses on, you can take those glasses off. Close your eyes completely. And just take a moment to bring your mind's attention to the subject matter at hand. Yoga, the culturing of the self. Basically just getting to know yourself a little bit better. Remain steady and tall and lifted. And you may either join me or repeat the Om silently in your head. Om. Bow your heads. Release your hands. And slowly lift the head up and open the eyes. Alrighty then. You'll need 2 bricks, 2 blocks, whatever kind you've got. Back to the main screen. Is there anybody who only has 1? Does everybody have 2 for the most part? Yeah? Okay. So let me show. You'll take 1 flat block, on its flattest side, and you'll put that in the middle of your mat on the floor. And you'll take your feet on either side of that brick. Then the second block is going to go this narrow way. Narrow, skinny way in between the legs, as high up as you can get it at the crease. You've probably done this before if you're an Iyengar student, regularly. Okay, so you're standing in Tadasana. So right away, please pay attention to your feet and press the entire foot down and the outer inner edges of your feet into the brick. Now you should, unless you have really low ankles, you know, my ankle bone just barely clears that top edge of the brick. So it's not painful for me to grip the brick with the whole inner edge of the heel and the ball of the foot. Some of you, you know, the bunion people, that the big toes won't hug the brick. That's okay, just do your best. So you feel the foundation that you're on, the firmness of the feet spreading, all that. And now look at your brick here with me just talking and not paying attention. I just look down at my brick, and because of my scoliosis and my right hip tilts backwards, my brick is tilted. I don't know if you can see it, but it's very plain and obvious to me. So I have to work from the feet and from these outer hips, wrapping in to make changes to my bricks, to my brick. So from the feet pressing down, hugging that brick, I'm making changes here to make a change there. So the brick is no longer crooked, and it was, the left side was lower, the right side was higher. So I can't see, you know, I'd have to spotlight every single person, but you be your own critic and look at your brick. Is one side lower? To me, it's very obvious. So be your own critic and try to make your brick even. Don't do it with your hands, but do it by this wrapping. I don't know of a better way to term it, but that's what the teachers I've been studying with lately are calling a sort of a wrapping idea of this outer hip kind of rolling around to the front while the thighs stay back. The legs are very, very active. Now look at your brick. Okay, now take your hands down like you would for Tadasana, but your palms are facing backwards. Closer in. Some of you are flying the hands out. Be a little closer. Don't be like this, right? But have the hands a little closer to the body and lift up that whole front of the trunk. Maybe occasionally you look down. Oh, is my brick level? Is it tilting on one side? So that is the hip. You have to work a little bit harder with that wrapping action. Squeeze. So you might have heard me even say, you know, compact the outer hips. That's what you're doing. How do you compact the hips? Well, the hips are on the trunk, right? So nothing works without the legs involved. So the legs have to be firmly involved to wrap the outer hips. Pull them in. Compact. Inner and outer. Compact. Wrap. If you could take your hands here and kind of squeeze the pelvis bones more closely towards the midline, and you know, you can let your feet go, and lo and behold, the brick stays behaving. But now I want you to do it without your hands, right? So palms are facing back. Lift the whole front of the trunk up. Now discover we can do nothing for the trunk without the arms and legs. So now your arms get into the picture. Palms are facing forward now, and feel how that helps you lift the whole front of the trunk up. You know, from your shin bones, your kneecaps, your thighs, lift up, grow taller, tall. Make space, you're going to create freedom in the body when you create space. Strongly lift up, palms, do you feel the opening? So arms are up now. Arms are up, and the palms face forward, like where to the wall that you're facing. Reach up, a little bit more meaningful. of a stretch. Do you feel that openness in the body? Mike, careful that you're not real narrow with your, if you're tight in the shoulders, you want to make sure that there's still space right here in between the shoulders and the upper arm. So I see a little bit like this of you. So go a little wider if you're stiff in the shoulders. That's fine. And lift up that whole front of the trunk. Okay, now take your arms down. Observe your grip. Is it the same? Is it level? Front to back, level, side to side. One side is not higher than the other. Good. Okay, now release from that. Take a chair. You can put it at the wall. I'm going to show you that for this one, it doesn't matter. Like if you would like to face any way you want, but if you want to be on the ready, this is how I like your setup, where you've got a chair, a sticky mat on the edge of the chair. And actually, I'm going to go a little bit away from the wall. Okay, have a seat with your buttock bones as close to the edge of the chair as possible. Okay, so you see here, this alignment, this is creating a parallel, perpendicular angle and parallel thighs. So now you'll walk your feet back just a bit, keeping your heels on the floor. I call this the masthead. We're just opening the shoulders a little bit. All right, everybody there? Okay, so now I'm gonna keep so you see how my heels are further back than my knees? My buttock bones are just at the seat's edge. So I lean forward a little bit and reach the corners of the chair where the chair bar curves, okay? Now I hold tightly on that chair bar and I lift the trunk up, roll the shoulders back, lift the front of your trunk up. Squeeze the knees together, keep the feet firmly pressing on the floor, and just lift up the front of your trunk. Okay. Okay. All right, so look here. This is what I'm seeing. See a couple things. You might be doing fairly well with this alignment, right? You started here and then you brought the feet back. Okay. So I'm seeing something like this. Does not feel nice in my neck, nor my traps, my shoulders. So what I want is you to keep the trapezium down, the shoulder blades down. Maybe you're stiff in the shoulders, so you can hold a little lower. That would be Mike. Okay. So lift up, and instead of head forward, head back. Keep it in line with the trunk. So maybe this is your version, Mike. Lift the front of the trunk up. Look up. Don't have the head way forward of the rest of the spine. Ah, that's better. Yeah. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, now just relax and look where you can see me. Okay, remember that action of the wrapping of the outer hips? Firm in the wrapping of the outer hips. So I'm pulling those feet back. I'm sitting, if I was just to an inch or so with the buttock bones that side of the chair, now I'm coming a little bit more where my buttock bones are just on the edge of the chair seat. Okay, now I roll the thighs in toward each other, squeeze my knees together, wrap these outer hips in together, take my arms up, lift the front of my trunk up, squeeze those knees together, and then come up off the chair. Uttanasana. And 1 or 2 inches, Kathy, that's 8. 1 or 2 inches, arms straight. Reach up, head back, Mike, head back. Squeeze and come down. Okay, so what got you off the chair? does anybody have, let me see if I do. Yeah, I can't unmute you. If you have a comment, can anybody tell me what got you off the chair?
My thigh muscles.
Yeah.
My upper body.
Yeah.
Your upper body, yeah. So,
Yes.
yep. So,
yeah.
Yeah, buttock muscles, all that. So it's that wrapping action. That wrapping action has to really wrap, and you have to squeeze those outer thighs together, the knees together, and that's what's bringing you up. Yeah, your arms are helping you a little bit, but it's the legs, that wrapping action of the outer hips. So here's what I'm going to do. Do you want to see me do it one more time? Yes, no, don't need to. So I'd like for you to try it 2 more times on your own. You could do 3 if you're very ambitious. All right, so right now, Mike, your head is way forward. Head back, head back, head back. Now arms up. Now arms up. Now you have to bend your whole trunk at the thigh crease. Bend it and take, yes, and now squeeze those outer hips, knees together, lift off, lift off. Ah, there you go. Squeeze, squeeze. Not so much, Kathy Beckman. Squeeze the knees together. Okay, now the arms are really important here too, to keep the lift of the front of the trunk. I don't know that it makes sense here to say this, but there has to be some sort of descension of the groins, sort of a turning of the groins inside to out to backside, actually. So that wrapping of the hips helps you turn the groins back. Yeah. Squeeze, Sopo, and arms. Yeah, if Uttanasana can be, if you're really unstiff in the shoulders, you can have the palms together. Straighten those elbows, Karen Carpenter, elbows. Yeah, okay. All right, so did that get you a little warmed up? A little bit warmed up. Did everybody have a good 2 or 3 times? Yes? Okay, so now put your chair at the wall. Take Ardha Uttanasana. So I'm going to step back. I want the hips over the ankles. Hips over the ankles. Fold forward. Go ahead and reach your hands out on the chair seat. Keep your ears in line to your biceps and reach. So you're absolutely perpendicular. You know, the hips over the hips over the ankles. And you're creating that line. So some of you could be here, if that's too much, you're here. You're just, but here's, if I see anything, if I just look real quick, the hips aren't back far enough. Marsha, hips back another inch. Hips back, push the chair if you need to. Push the chair, take the hips back. I'm fine with either feet together or feet apart, but the feet should be parallel. Feet parallel. All right. Okay, now from there, walk your hands to the edges of the chair and turn the palms out. And so here was my Ardha Uttanasana. Okay, so now here, and now I'm walking my feet because I'm kind of long-legged. I'm walking my legs way back to take chair dog. So I push, and my heels are off my mat. Now, still that wrapping sensation of those outer hips. Lift the tops of the thighs up and back. So it's just, so now you're still like in Ardha Uttanasana, half forward bend. Now I want you, walk back. Keep going, push the chair forward. Yeah, now deepen the crease at the top of the thighs and take your hips up and back. Up and back. Feel the groins turning at the top of the thighs, the innermost groins going back and spreading the backs of the thighs out. Okay, now walk up. Okay, so I have this sticky mat on the chair seat, And I'm going to put a little bit of that sticky mat on my wall, like that. It's just providing a little bit of padding for the wall. All right, so if you want to watch this first, this might be a good thing to watch. So I'm less than a leg distance away from the wall. I'm gonna, excuse me, you'll place the right foot or wherever you are in your space. Can you do the leg that allows you to see the camera first? And you're gonna put the foot up on the chair, and you have the foot at the foot that's on the chair at a 45-degree angle or so. If you can see the foot on the chair. And now you see how this back leg is over the hip. For Trikonasana, I gotta hop or just heel toe, and bring that leg away. Keep the front heel bisecting the left instep. Okay, now your back leg, which is not the leg that's on the chair, is on make a fulcrum with your hand and pull that back hip back. Okay, if you want to do it with me, or you can watch. Now, I reach the same hand of the arm that's at the leg that's at the wall. I reach up and I keep the trunk facing forward. Then I pull that femur deep into the socket. And then my hand goes to the wall. My head is supported on my arm. Can you see? Now I push into the ball of the foot and drive the head of the femur of this lifted leg into the socket. That's important. Yes, your back leg heel has to stay down. Your back leg hip has to stay back. Okay, and now can I go over more? Go over, keep the head supported. Okay, now if you feel comfortable there, you can release the hand to the chair seat, take the top arm up, and there you are in a nice big open pelvic opening, hips, the Trikonasana. Push well into the wall, the ball of the foot, and drive that femur in the socket. Turn, feel that nice opening across the pelvic. All right, now to come up, if you can reach the wall, it's safe to kind of heel toe, heel toe, heel toe. Hold on to the wall, take the foot off the wall. Turn around. With your back leg only about a leg distance or less than a leg distance away from the wall. Put the foot on the wall, 45-degree angle, and then heel toe away. Push the ball of the foot into the wall, strongly drive that femur of that front leg into the wall. Reach fulcrum with the back hand on the hip. You can see me from the back side. I'm trying to keep my trunk facing forward while this thigh is turned out and really pull that femur into the socket. Exhale, go over, hand on the wall. Keep pushing and drive that head of the femur into its socket. Walk that back leg back if you didn't walk it back enough. Do it. All right, so Mike, you're bending more at the waist than at the hip. Bend at the hip. Go over, take your arm closer to that top chair bar. Yeah, that looks good, Chaya. Just keep turning your trunk. Keep turning your trunk to face forward. Yeah, that's better, Mike. Draw that back hip back. Uncover those ribs. Okay, now the hand can go to the chair and the top arm can go up. Yeah, draw the sopo, the back hip is coming forward. Don't let it. Push the ball of the foot into the wall.
Drive that. If you have the security of that front leg hip in its socket, then your back leg is going to behave better. Turn, Kathy Beckman, turn the trunk, turn the trunk. All right, and now be steady, hold on to the wall or the chair and come off.
Okay, let's move on. I love to do that twice, but we will run out of time. So I'm gonna, let's just do it together. So now we'll do Utthita Parshva Konasana, sort of the same way. So the foot is at that right angle, ball of the foot into the wall. I step the back leg away. So for this first time, we're just going to use a little momentum to get this fold of the crease. So I want you to just bend 5 or 6 times, keeping the hand here and drawing that back hip back. 5 or 6 times, bend, bend, bend. Okay, now bend and stay. Push into that ball. Feel that femur firmly in its socket. Reach the same hand as bent knee towards the wall. So my hand is staying at the wall. My head is supported on my upper arm. This hip is staying back. Bend. Okay, now can you lie your entire trunk along that leg and then sneak the hand to the chair? Okay, so uncover that front leg pelvic area. Push into the ball. Take your top arm up, go to the wall behind your ear if you can. Ooh, nice opening in the pelvis. Do you feel that, everyone? Turn and look up at the ceiling. Press that back heel, back hip, back. Tuck the buttock under you more. That bent knee buttock has to come under you more to support the trunk. All right, and then release that leg. Hold the wall. Take that leg off. Second side. 45-degree angle. Still see that your foot that's on the chair lines up to the instep of the back leg. 5 or 6 times. Bend, bend, bend. Okay. Reach the top arm up and then pull, deepen that thigh crease. Keep moving the buttock under you more. Reach the hand to the wall. Can you lie your, whatever side you've got there, those ribs, those side ribs along your leg, your bent knee. Now, if you can keep that, move the hand to the chair, push down and turn some more. Turn the ribs. If the camera is on my back body, I'm trying to stack those ribs one on top of the other. Then the top arm comes up, goes behind my ear. Turn the trunk to face forward. Push into that wall of the foot to find that, how that femur has to stay in the socket. Press that back heel, outer back heel. Okay, and then release. Straighten the leg, use the chair to help you come up. How's everybody doing?
So it's amazing to me. I've been doing some of this work with my teachers and how the change of gravity, you don't have a lot of weight on that leg, how the change of gravity can help you keep that femur in the socket, and that wrapping action of the outer hips. Okay, so part of Vogtanasana, this is supposed to be a forward bend week, right?
So carefully place your right foot at the wall, step back with your left. Still, the relationship is the same between the front heel and the back instep. Or if you need balance, you can step the back foot wider. Okay, so I press into that ball of the foot. Now take your hands and pull that front thigh firmly into the socket. And now keep your hands like this in that crease. Bend forward, bend forward. So my trunk just lays easily down. Do what you can. And if it lays easily forward and the back heel stays on the ground, then you can hold the outer edges of the chair and head can come down. Pull wide the elbows to feel a sense of broadening across the shoulder blades, collarbones.
There's still that wrapping action on the outer hip. Straighten the knee completely. The ball of the foot, Kathy Lindauer pressing into the wall is going to help you keep that leg straight. Pull the quadricep and hamstring up to that crease and then fold. Keep your hips level. Keep your hips level. Watch and be careful, you formerly injured hamstring people. Okay, inhale and come up. And just stand in Tadasana in front of your chair and see what feels different between the two hamstrings there. One should feel longer. Okay. Turn the standing leg slightly out. Step your other leg to the wall. Turn your hips to face that chair. Step the back leg back if you didn't step it enough. Okay, your groins, I didn't say this on the first side. I was too concerned with getting this position right. The groins should feel as though they're rolling back and away from each other. Like if we were together, someday we might be together again, but I would have a strap around here and I could stand behind you and pull the groins back. Okay, so strongly press into that ball. Now you take your hands and pull the hamstring and quadricep up. Keep your hands sort of like a karate chop in that crease and fold. Fold deep in that crease. The groins pulling, rotating backwards. So you push into that ball of the foot and you drive that femur in its socket. Back heel stays down. Wrap those hips toward the pelvis. Okay, and then if you've got it, you can hold the outside edges of the chair, put the head down, bend the elbows out to the side. I guarantee you, even if you have a hamstring that's still recovering, if you will pull all the muscles and fibers of that front leg firmly back to the hip socket, you will get tremendous benefit from it as far as the healing process. Push the big toe ball mound into the wall and keep that thigh pulling up. Yeah, most of you're doing a fabulous job keeping the hips even. It's great. Okay, and now inhale and come up. Now just stand and face your chair. Imagine the brick were there. Okay, can you wrap those hips like you did in the beginning Tadasana? Wrap those hips together. Pull those outer hips slightly forward while the thighs stay back. So if can everybody turn sideways to the camera so I can see if there's been some improvement? Sideways to the camera. Feet together if you can manage. Feet together. Okay, so strong awareness as if you still you're pressing into the block and into the floor with your feet. Okay, then wrap those thighs. Take the outer thighs slightly forward while the outer hips slightly forward while the thighs stay back. Roll the shoulders back. Lift the whole front of your trunk. You don't have your arms reaching up yet, but can you pull the shoulders back and reach the arms down to get that same sensation? Chin up just a little bit, Chaya. Yeah. Thighs back, Laura. Thighs back, thighs back. Think thighs back and tailbone forward. Tailbone forward, thighs back. Thighs back, Marsha. Thighs back. So you guys need to maybe spend some time in front of a long mirror that you might have and see if you'll be honest with yourself, and you might that needs some work still. Your thighs are basically hips over ankles. I'm seeing it on some of you, but I want you to be your own awareness. Let's just try this for a second. I wasn't going to do this, but as I see something needs to happen, and it's a good place to put it in. So be in your best Adho Mukha Virasana. So big toes together, knees slightly apart. Don't go way wide. Just go almost like Vajrasana. Because what we're going to do is, I want you to watch me. I'm not going to belabor this, but we're going to do downward dog, and then you're going to walk up and do Uttanasana. And that's when you will be able to tell, hopefully, that your hips are over your ankles. Okay? So watch. So here, come forward, and I reach as far forward as I can. I keep the buttocks down, pull the ribs forward. My hands and arms are really, I am literally taking the upper arms out of the sockets on purpose because I'm coming into downward dog. So now I come forward, and that should be a good position for you. Your hands are in front of your armpits. I tuck my toes, keep my knees really bent, lift my hips up and back, push into the floor, lift up, lift up, lift up, straighten the legs, and draw the heels down. Okay, so then you're here, and you do your best at doing downward dog. Heels are down. So then I walk back. I keep walking back until my hips are over my heels, fingertips on the floor, look forward. Okay, so that's what I want you to do. Now, if your fingertips don't stay on the floor, yes, blocks are fine. Use blocks. So Mike, you need some bricks. Grab some bricks. The arms should be completely straight and pushing into those bricks. Okay, so now walk back, Karen. Yeah, walk back, knees straight, knees straight, knees straight. You got maybe another inch. Look forward, look forward. So yeah, concave Uttanasana. Now feel that wrapping action of the outer thighs. Okay, now walk your hands back, Mike. Now you're in Uttanasana. All right, those of you, so Marcia, you have 2 more inches. Draw the hips back, 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 back. Lift your toes. Here's how you feel it, guys. You feel it if you feel the weight in your heels. You should really strongly feel the weight in your heels. If you don't, so lift all 10 toes. Sopo, that would be you. Yeah, now when you came up, your hips went back. Now that's proper, okay. And now, those of you who have your hips over your ankles, walk your hands back, maybe even behind the feet. and head down. Release the trunk. You should have the feeling that the skin around your buttock bones is flowing over towards your back. Draw the kneecaps up, straight. Yeah, Laura, your buttocks have to come forward a little bit. So, you know, Laura, go with your feet wide, not so wide, but maybe eight inches apart. Yeah. Knees straight. Okay, so keep that wrapping action of those outer hips. From, you know, remember how the feet had to work with the brick. Now your hips have gone back, Chaya. It was fine before. Yes, yes. Trust your legs. There you go. Okay, now to come up, bring your hands to your hips and stand up on the strength of those outer hips, legs. Okay. All right. Okay, one of the few times that I turn my back to my students for the first side, Vrikshasana. Vrikshasana. So this is how I want you to do it today. Doesn't matter if you can't see. This is what I want you to see right here. So I want you to see this outer thigh hip connection. So I'm close to the wall. Hopefully you can still hear me if I'm talking loud enough away from the mic. I bend up the right leg and I put the foot as high up in the thigh as possible. And I have to scoot in a little bit. It's not the kneecap itself, but the top of the patella or the kneecap that goes into the wall. Okay, so now here can you see this is out and it's not doing anything? Here's what I want you to do. Can you see that? So I'm pushing this outer foot into the thigh and I'm pulling the thigh into the hip socket. Here I'm not doing it, here I'm doing it. And what gets opened, I'll show you on the front, what gets opened is the inner groin. So this gets open. So I actually push the foot and I pull that outer thigh into the hip socket, buttock forward. Do you feel it? So try that movement, that action of the outer thigh into the hip socket and the buttock moving forward, under you more. Do that movement 5 or 6 times. And careful that your standing thigh doesn't sway forward. Yeah, keep it back. Good. Better. Yep. Yeah, and the knee down a little bit more, Mike. So you may have to go closer to the wall. Knee down. Okay, so those of you who have it, take your arms up. You could do here and go up and move that buttock in. Open up the groins. You've got your right leg up. The right groin is kind of moving more towards the left hip. Okay, change sides. There's other ways to work on this. If you'll ask me after class, I'll show you another way that we did with Marcia was there in Chris Suddick's hip workshop. It's actually the same thing, but it's a little bit easier to work on and might be easier for some of you. Okay, so now the other leg. Make sure that the knee's going down. You know, the trajectory of that bent knee thigh and bent knee groin, this one, is to release towards the inner knee. So Kathy Lindauer, your knee is way high. Let the knee go down. You can even go like this. See how I'm letting the knee go way down. Then I say, okay, and I pull myself back up and even out my pelvis Yes, that standing leg has to be really firm. That's better. That's better. Yep. Turn your trunk to face forward. Push the outer foot into that standing leg thigh and wrap that outer standing leg thigh in. Compact the hips. This is true compaction of the hips. So we can get some freedom in the groins. Okay, then take the arms up. Don't let the bent knee side of the hip creep up. Take it back more, Mike. The bent knee side of the hip, make a connection between the outer thigh moving towards the outer hip socket. I don't want to get too technical, but this is the head, the head of the greater trochanter that you're working on here. And arms up. You can push your knee into the wall and wrap those outer hips. Okay, and then release. Okay, now for something yummy. Again, we don't want to belabor this, but be near a wall if you can and have, all right, let's see. If you only have one strap, you will use that strap for traction. And the other strap can be a belt, one of your husband's old ties, or in Mike's case, one of his old ties he doesn't wear anymore. Anything. But the one belt, and it should be a longer belt, is going to provide you some traction for Supta Pada Uttanasana 1. And the second belt is going to be for the arch. So Supta Pada. So just put the long belt in the left foot, more towards the heel, and the right outer thigh. So you have to scoot in, lie down, and make sure the tail of your strap is pulling towards the wall in front of you. Gotta have it loose enough. You know, and if you don't want to do the traction, I understand, but it's absolutely wonderful. So in this part of the pose, before I get to Supta Pada 1 and Supta Tadasana, I'm tucking the shoulders, rolling the shoulder blades down, trapezium down, and then I use the wall, stretch the legs straight. Okay, then I've got that strap on the ready, and I bend up the right leg without giving anything up on the left. So my left foot hasn't left the wall. It's providing traction. I'm pushing strongly into that heel and ball mount. Okay, now I have my second strap. And I put it across the arch. And I hold it with both hands on either side. If you can just be at 90, then you're just at 90. But what I want and what the strap is helping you do is to roll the thighs in and move the inner groins away from each other. So imagine that your right inner groin is going to the right side of that wall. The left inner groin is moving to the left side of the wall that's in front of you. Now, pull with your arms that femur into the socket. So here's the leg coming up, and now I want to pull it down to the floor. So firm up that outer hip. Groins away from each other. Ever so briefly, whatever you can do here. Now, if that's going well, you can bring the leg in closer. You can let the elbows bend out to the side, not giving up anything on the bottom leg. Extension of the bottom leg, groins moving away from each other. Pull that outer top leg, hip down towards the floor. You should feel almost that wrapping sensation again. You should feel a quickening of that outer hip. Okay, now switch your hands, hold the strap with the left hand, take your right arm out at shoulder height on the floor. Okay, remember you're not giving up anything on the bottom leg. You're keeping this hip back, you're keeping the right groin rolling inside to outside, away from the left. And now keeping the right side of the sacrum on the floor. Just take your leg over that much. Right side of the sacrum stays on the floor, integrity of the left heel on the wall. Supta Parivrtta, Supta Padangusthasana. Revolve your abdomen and waist back towards the right. Press through the ball of the lifted leg. The ball of the foot presses, the outer hip pulls back to the floor. Use your breath to revolve, inhale, and then on your exhalation, turn the trunk back towards the floor. Okay, and then reach that leg up, remove the strap. Now it's easier said than done, but in order to have the pull of the traction strap facing the correct way, you take it off and you flip it over. So I just changed kind of midair, whoops. Put the strap on the right heel, and now that tail of the strap is on the outside of the left hip. I scoot back into the wall, tuck the shoulders under, straighten that bottom leg, pull the front leg in for Uttanasana ever so briefly. Have my strap ready. Put it across the arch and take the leg up. Okay, going a little bit faster this time, you know what to do. Pull with your strap to set your feet, the head of the femur, deep in its socket. And as you're doing that, keep the right leg extended to the wall. Press that foot into the wall. Then you can bring the leg in closer, as that might be working for some of you. Groins away from each other. Left groin going out to the left. Right groin going out to the right. Okay, and then reach up, pull with the opposite hand. Take your left arm out to the side. Left leg is going to the right. Reach the leg across, keeping the left side of the sacrum on the floor. Push through the ball of the foot and feel that outer, for me it's the up leg is my left, that outer left thigh staying in the socket, outer left femur hooked into the socket. The bones have to support the muscles and the joints and the skin. So that's why I'm asking you to really put your mind where that socket is and pull it, use the strap to pull it down back towards the floor. And then use your breath on each subsequent exhalation to revolve the abdomen in the opposite way. So you're going opposite way, Laura, if you're already, the front leg is going to the opposite way. Yeah, you hold with the other hand and the left arm goes out to the side. Yeah. Yeah, just a little bit to keep the left side of the sacrum on the floor. Mine didn't even go over 45 degrees. And pull with your arm, that outer left thigh back into the socket. So Mike, are you holding with the right? If your up leg is going across the body and your same leg that's up, that arm is out to the side at shoulder height. And that palm presses down. No, you had it right, Laura. Same arm as up leg is on the floor. Yeah. Now push through the ball more. Mike, the ball of the leg. Don't go over so far. Okay. And now bring the leg back up. And just remove all your straps. Bend your knees, 2-3 inches. Supta Tadasana. So you're tucking yourself back into the wall. Draw your shoulder blades, trapezium down the back. Pin those outer shoulders. You can hold, I like to hold the edges of the sticky mat. Now, strongly press your feet into the wall and press your thighs down as if somebody was standing on your thighs. I think I've told the story that, you know, when I started my little yoga studio that Mike used to go to in St. Paul, a suburb of St. Paul. My daughter was in 4th grade and she would stand on my thighs in this pose. It was wonderful, actually. I didn't want her to leave. After a while, she would go and get a book and then come back and sit on my thighs. It feels really good, but you should figure out how you can do the work yourself. Now wrap those thighs towards the pelvis. It's like the pelvis is going towards the midline. And guess what that does? Those of you who suffer from any chronic low back pain, that really helps to create space in the low back. Okay. All right, now bend your knees and roll to the side and take Vogtanasana. You don't need anything much. If you want to sit on height because you don't like Vogtanasana without height, you may sit on a height, but what's best is to sit on a corner of your blanket. Do you know what I'm talking about? I'll show in just a minute. Let me make sure I got this. I was trying to move this a little closer, but it's going to fall down. I will come closer to the camera. So here's what I mean about sitting on a corner of your blanket if you need help in Trikonasana. Can you see? So it's just for my tailbone area. You know, I don't want the thighs underneath it. That's my point. So it's either here and you're sitting on that corner and the legs are out to the side. So you can just barely see that little corner of the blanket. It's for the perineum, really. Okay. So here I want you to be strongly aware that these outer thighs are pulling back into the sockets and your groins are absolutely soft. So don't harden here. Can you make this soft and pull the outer thighs back into the hip sockets? Be firm, keep that outer thigh area firm. Hands can go back behind you. Kind of have the idea that the toes are rolling back as opposed to forward. Yeah, you're just keeping the 10 toes facing the ceiling. Okay, and now bring your right leg in. I'm reaching underneath, so the fulcrum of all my fingers are helping to turn the thigh out. My thumb is going on the top of the thigh. Can you see how I've got that grip? And I roll that thigh out, and I reach with the other hand, turn the shin, turn the ankle, turn the foot. So now you're in Sheryl with one leg in Trikonasana. So you're turning basically deep in the groin, turning that groin out, sort of a rotational turning of that thigh out, knee down. Okay, then go back, Upavishta. Reset those outer thighs. I'm gonna kind of go quick with this because I want to get to the forward bends today. So now I've got the hand near the top of the knee. I help roll that thigh out. Careful that you don't just pick your knee up. Keep the knee low. Do you see how I'm trying to keep that knee low? I roll that thigh out and then I reach with the other hand. And there we go. One leg in Janu Sirsasana, the other leg in
Upavishta Konasana, hands back behind you. Rotation of the groin. Okay, this is basically, you could call this Ardha Siddhasana, half Siddhasana. Siddhasana is one of those poses that is an absolute prerequisite for getting Padmasana someday. Okay, now release back to Upavishta. Now we'll try to go for the full Siddhasana. So again, your right leg, try to keep the knee low, turn. Now the left leg. Now, you're picking your toes up, keeping your, I'll call that the ankle plate, the outer ankle plate, side by side to the corresponding inner ankle plate. And I'm tucking the toes in between the calf and the thigh. Keep the knees nice and wide. Reach your hands out. You can do this Yana Mudra if you'd like. It's just a symbolic hand position that connects the body and the mind. So don't do anything here, right? Have it in your mind that this is soft. What's firm is this outer thigh, pulling back to the hip socket, and the pelvis should feel like it's coming towards the midline. That wrapping action again. And you could try this. Take your hands here and feel that wrapping action. Doesn't that feel good in your groins? My groins just go, ah. Okay, release. Upavishta Konasana. And then your second leg comes in. Roll that thigh out. Get that heel in as close to its same inner thigh. That's the key. Bent knee, outer ankle plate to its same thigh. And then the other side. Pick the foot up, put the toes in between between the calf and the thigh. Yeah, if you need to use your hands here to feel that outer thigh connection, outer thighs in the femur, firm in the socket. Pelvis going more towards the midline, release your groins. This should be a wide pose. Okay. Full Siddhasana. Okay, release. Just take your legs out in front a little wide. Press the knees down. Sort of a wide Dandasana. Okay, now Baddha Konasana. Bring both legs up. Don't do this slowly. So when you come up, you're rolling those thighs out, rolling those thighs out. I'm going to bring the feet together quite wide. So there's this big expanse here. And I'm going to push the feet together. And right here, can you feel the outer thighs? Outer thighs staying firm in their sockets. Okay, then I'm going to come in a little bit more. I'm going to hold underneath my feet and use my forearms to help me both widen the groins out to the side and get the knees down as much as possible. Come forward. Okay, so here, what I like is to really push those outer soles of the feet together. And I feel firmly that connection of that outer thigh in the hip socket. Push, 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 push. Groin soft. For me, I have a problem hip, and I can feel it's almost like medicine. The more I push the outer feet, it's like something is clicking, and the problem hip femur is trying its level best to stay in that socket. So you just have to figure out what you need any given day, any given practice. Okay, now we have a brick. Let's see if I'm gonna be too far. Sit on a brick with the wide, flat way. Sit on a brick. Move the buttock flesh away. I'm using purposely a brick, and it's okay if you have a foam one or a cork one, but you feel that firmness as opposed to the blankets. You feel the evenness of the two bones. Okay, now you'll take your right leg back for Triangle Mukha Ekapada Paschimottanasana. So what I want you to do is stay even with both buttock palms. Okay, remember how we used our hands in Vogtanasana, and I had you pull the thigh up into the socket. Yeah, and now I'm going to keep the hand, once I've pulled that straight leg thigh up into the socket, I'm going to keep that hand in the crease, and I'm starting to bend forward. Keep the knees pointing straight ahead and press down on that outer, the Virasana leg. Don't let it roll, right? It has to stay on its outer edge. I'm coming here as if my shin were still here, but it's not. And I'm just folding and keeping those two buttock bones on the brick. Okay, now if I've got that, can I keep this femur firm and that wrapping action of the outer thigh? Switch the hands to the ball of the foot. Look up, look up. This might be all we do today. Don't list, Mike. You're listing. So be even. It's going to start from the base. That was better. The little change that you made, that was better. Pull up, pull up. So we're just doing yeah, you could definitely use a strap if you're, okay, let me show. If you're struggling and this is all collapsed, yes, you take your strap. And you lift up. But the buttock bones stay even. That outer thigh of the straight leg stays in the socket. Okay, and then come on. Take that leg out. I'll stay sideways this time. Tadasana, feel the evenness of both your buttock bones. And then bend the left leg out to the side of Virasana. Stay even on both buttock bones. The groins here, you know, they roll, they rotate, they roll, and they go towards the back of the leg. So if you need that assistance, that they need help to feel that, you can roll those thighs and then release that buttock flesh back again. See that you're even and reach the arms. Oh, we didn't do that. We did this. Pull the thigh up towards all the skin, the muscles, the ligaments, everything. Try to help it. Pull it up. Keep your hand in that crease. Bend forward. Come forward any amount. Stay even. Press the outer shin bone, outer knee of the bent Virasana leg on the floor. Take a hold of your foot, or you're using a strap. Lift up, shoulders back, chest up. Yeah. Stay even on that brick. All right, and then release. Back to Tadasana. I'm going to turn back this way. You're fine. Stay up on your brick. Tadasana. Okay, Marichyasana 1. Ooh, bring the leg up. This is our last one, then we'll do Siddhasana. Sit up nice and tall. Bring the foot in as it should stay in line to its own buttock bone. Pull yourself up. The straight leg, firm. The straight leg, outer thigh, pulled back to the hip socket. Now, inhale, reach up, same leg is bent, arm, reach up. And exhale, put the same arm on the inside. Oh, I should, if you can't grab I can grab the other side, the same side as the bent knee of my brick back here. I'm grabbing my brick. If you can't, you can have another brick behind you. So, here. And here. So you guys are like this. You reached up, you turned, and you've got this brick to turn. So don't spin your buttock bones. Turn the pelvis without turning the buttock bones. Don't slide on your brick. Turn your waist, turn your rib cage, turn your chest. Look up. Grow taller with your spine. Lift your chest. All right, that was only one side, huh? Okay, and then release. Second side from Tadasana. Bend up the other leg. Bring it in close. Pull yourself up. And keep the straight leg hand in that outer thigh crease. So I'm asking you to hold it down like that as you reach up and turn. I'm doing the same side, so I'm going to go to the second side. Reach up and turn. Hand on the brick. Push the bent knee into the arm into the bent knee, and turn more. Don't let your buttock bones change. And Kathy Beckman, you can go wider with that foot. Anybody can do that if you need some space across the abdomen or pelvic region. You can go wider. Lift up. Lift up that trunk. Okay. All right, and then release. You have your, well, let's just do one. So if you're stiff in the low back, you stay up on that brick. If you aren't, you can come off your brick. But you're just going to do one nice Uttanasana. Remember that pulling back of the thighs, pull back on the thighs, reach up, lift up, and then take the trunk down. Do what you can. Or you're staying up on the brick. You're reaching up, you're holding, maybe you have a strap, and you're just doing this Urdhva Mukha version of a forward fold or Paschimottanasana. But all the skin from the buttock flesh, buttock bone flesh, it has to come up towards the lower back. All right, and now release and come up, and we'll do this little thing to end class. Put your bricks the long way at the wall. Tadasana. And then we'll go right into Setu Bandha for those of you who could stay just another minute or so. So my feet are up on the brick. My toes, if my feet are longer than my brick, my toes can bend up the wall. But in reality, what's really nice is to put the heel in that edge of the brick. So watch. Tadasana like this. I'm gonna hold on to the edges of my sticky mat, tuck the shoulders, and roll the trapezium well underneath me, moving my shoulders closer to my tailbone. I've got a hold of here. I tuck and roll, tuck and roll. I push into the heels and come up. So do you see how my toes are lifted? I push into the heels and lift the buttocks higher and higher. I tuck again, lift the buttocks higher and higher. Press the upper arms down, the elbows down. Lift, lift, lift. Pull your shins back towards you. Do it 3 times on your own, maybe holding for 20 to 30 seconds. Lift your toes and pull the shins back towards you. Lift where the crease meets the buttock, where the thigh crease meets the buttock. Your buttocks have to be a lot closer to your knees. Walk in, yeah, there you go. Your break should be 10 seconds or less. Dig your heels into that front edge of the block and lift all 10 toes. Use those gluteal muscles. Yeah, even more, Mike. I don't see your, I don't know what I look like. I didn't look at the camera much, but you look like this to me. When you start, your buttocks should be very close to the bricks. Tuck and roll and come up. Okay. Okay, you're gonna do one more fun thing. So if you're done, you're done. Okay, now you just take one brick, get rid of one. Walk your feet in really close. Tuck your shoulders, lift up, come up onto your tippy toes, place the brick the wide, tall way. Wide, tall way underneath the sacrum. Put the hip sacrum on it, tuck the shoulders, be there 30 seconds. Still press your feet down, pick your 10 toes up. What if the brick wasn't there? You got 10 more seconds. Wrap those outer hips in toward each other. Okay, now lift off your brick. Lift off. Pick your 10 toes up, pull your shins back towards you. Squeeze, lift where that crease and thigh area is. All right, and then slowly roll down. Remove your brick and then slowly roll down. Lie flat for Shavasana. Lie comfortably for Shavasana. Take whatever makes you happy in Shavasana. Yeah, turn your light off, take an eye wrap, take a head pillow, blanket, wrap yourself up in more clothing, whatever is necessary. Okay, at the beginning of your Shavasana, I want you to think about this. Take a little bit deeper inhalation and use your inhalation to open yourself up like a flower. Imagine, you just use some imagery there. A little bit deeper inhalation and imagine yourself opening up like a flower. And now begin on your exhalation to come more deeply into yourself. So the inhalation, you open yourself up to all the possibilities that the world has for you. On your exhalation, you come more deeply into yourself. knowing. Today we did a little exploring about getting to know yourself. That's the subject matter of yoga. So now how can you use a little bit more gentle inhalation and exhalation to discover those possibilities? And then begin to direct your mind more towards the back of the brain. Let the back of the brain settle. The front brain, dismantles and figures things out. The back brain is somewhat more holistic and it reassembles. The back brain is more reflective. The front brain works more on the periphery. So put yourself in your back brain. Allow your breath to become quieter now, softer. Hopefully, you've begun to discover that with a daily practice, a transformation in your mind begins to come. Okay. Just gently allow your eyes to open, but not to focus on any one thing. Fold your limbs in one at a time. Stay on your right, roll over to your right side for a couple breaths at least. And then as you prop yourself up, the head's the last thing that comes up. Sit up nice and straight and tall, fold your palms. Have that deep sense of gratitude for being able to practice together today. And for all the teachers who've come before us. Namaste. And I will be teaching Monday.